Okay. Yikes, I'm so sorry. I had it all planned. I was going to use the software I normally use where I can screen share, and all of a sudden the software is not talking to Facebook. Don't you love technology when it does that? Because I had all sorts of great photos to share with you about my experiences with RESA Convention. So I'm going to go over here just some of my highlights of RESA Convention, what I learned, some tips, just things that I think everybody kind of should need to know. I'm gonna give it a little bit of time as you're getting in. Thank you, Gail, Karen. Yeah, I'm the right side up. I did this last time and it looked fine, so all of a sudden it doesn't like my phone the other direction. Facebook working for you. So welcome, Nancy. I'm glad that you guys all figured out. I know you knew I was gonna do this at 11 a.m. in the Stagers Connect group, but welcome, everybody. Give me one moment. I'm so roasting hot here in San Diego. I don't know what about your weather there. Okay, great. I'm letting everyone get on board. We've got a lot of people here. This is great. So some highlights about RESA. For those of you who know, normally when I do these lives, I use a fancy technology where you can see my screen and what sort of thing, but it just wasn't working. So I'm gonna have to wing it a little bit. For those of my members, don't worry, I'll do video and add it to the training. I have a lot to add. I have to say, all of the RESA conventions, I have been to all of them. I exhibit and I speak at all of them. And this one, I actually learned more than I ever had. Paula, I missed you there. I'm not gonna try not to comment too much on the people, but thank you for your comments. It was really incredible. I learned a lot, and I'm gonna rapid fire go over some of the highlights that I learned. If you were on this line and you went to RESACon and I missed something and you wanna type it in, go ahead and do that too, because I think it'll be good for people to learn. And as we grow kind of this group already, we've got 22 people I knew who were gonna be here. They knew I was going live. I just started a new Stagers Connect group for my clients, so any HSR member. And in there, I'm going to be doing a lot of kind of telling you when I'm going to go live, so you're ready, so you can get in here and do these Q&As. But let's talk about it. Okay, so I kind of walked you through kind of the new group that I've launched, Stagers Connect. If you're a client of mine, go ahead and log in. You should have gotten a secret code. I emailed you, or it's in the members area. Or if you're still not on my email, which you should still be, but if you're not, you can email us at support and get into the Stagers Connect group. There's a lot of good conversations already going on. It's a private, safe place. You can showcase your work, and I like that. I'm actually saving it because I'm always looking for materials to post, because I write for the National Association of Realtors, so I'll be looking for that. You can showcase your work for me to do that. If it's training related question, tag me. I'm going to answer it in there so everyone benefits. Yes. Technology is great. And this is why I'm using this. One thing I really learned at this RESA convention that I'm going to share with you is some of the new technology that is really working for stagers. So a couple things. This RESA convention, it was in Vegas. I'm on the board of RESA along with a lot of other training companies. For those of you who aren't familiar with RESA, it's the Real Estate Staging Association. They have these kind of events every year, and it's very exciting. It's a time when stagers can kind of get together and brainstorm and network. RESA is not attached to any other training company. That's what makes it special. I'm on the board with other training companies. It's a non-profit. So unlike other kind of associations out there, they are not nonprofits. They're usually attached to a training company, just like I have ASHSR. So those who don't know, I'm just giving you a little bit of an outline. We always time RESA convention with the market. And I'm going to go over a little bit of that too. And I'm going to have to, under this live, share some of the photos I took at market, some of the deals that you get at market. So it's called the Las Vegas Market, and it's kind of a wholesale place. And I'm going to explain that in just a bit. But we always time our conventions so that you can shop the market wholesale after you go to convention. So if you're brand new to staging, I explained this in my training, but if you're brand new and you're not part of my training, it's kind of like the next step for you when you're ready to kind of boom, go big, buy inventory, that sort of thing. And I'll talk about that in this thing. So first, let's get back to RESA convention. This year, our keynote speaker was Vern Yip. Well, first, let me tell you, this year, we got binders. So in every other year, we did not get binders. This year, we got binders. And it's kind of nice because they were broken up, I don't know if you could see this, by tabs. And so you had a lot of great information. You could write all your notes down. I mean, I could show you, here is just one page of notes. Look at that I wrote. I'm having Michelle speak for you. This was Michelle's presentation, Michelle Minch, who's one of my people. I love her, and I took so many notes. I learned so much from her just in that one-hour presentation. So that's what the binder's kind of nice. There's some great speakers. Our keynote speaker, who I absolutely fell in love with, was Vern Yip. Anybody on this line, if you saw Vern Yip, tell me what you thought. Now, if you don't know Vern Yip, this is Vern Yip. This is his book, which I immediately went out and purchased. And it's on Amazon, $17. It's hardback. It's a beautiful coffee table book. What I loved about his message and his book, it's actually all in the book, so I recommend you get it, is he is a man after my own heart, because I always talk about the principles and elements of great design. And as stagers, we need to know there is so much art to what we do. It's hard to put a formula to it, but he actually put a formula to the measurements, the typical measurements that you would use from a spatial issue, like the length of a coffee table compared to your couch, the distance from the coffee table to your chairs and your couch. And he has all those measurements. He's a numbers guy, which I love because I'm a numbers girl. He has all of them actually easily written out in his book, which I have, in my training, but not as easily written out. So then what I really love in the book, in the very back, I don't know if you can see that, he actually has them in a cheat sheet. So that got my wheels turning, a cheat sheet with all the best measurements. I mean, how many times you go through a remodel or you're working with a contractor and they're like, how high do you want to hang that chandelier? Boom, it's in Vern's book. Just cheat sheet right there, ready for you. So I loved it. I actually love the way he spoke about people needing us. They're needing great design. And he used a phrase over and over again that I've never heard before, and I loved the way he spoke. By the way, if you missed it, a lot of his stuff is in the book. I read the book right after I got home, and it is the way he speaks. His story is amazing. Yeah, Sabrea, you're gonna love the book. But I like the way he speaks is a good way for us to speak to our clients. So one of the terms he used, so in my training, I use the term rhythm in the home, where you're using colors to kind of tie the space. He used the term thread of continuity. How cool is that? I loved it. And when he walks through the space and he discusses items, things with clients, he talks about that thread of continuity, whether that's something from their travels, whether it's a color that you're threading throughout the home. But I love the way he speaks and the way we can use that. So write that down, thread of continuity. It just, again, builds your credibility. It was just a great way his verbiage, the way he professionally phrases things with clients, to get them on board. So I loved that part of his, take the numbers, the principles, color, all that sort of thing. That was one of the highlights for me. Another highlight for me, obviously you guys know I shared a photo before. We had a happy hour. I did a happy hour for all my members, and I'll put the photos below. I'll have to put them below this because I can't share it with you, but it was such a great time for a smaller group of the RESA Convention group to really network and discuss and meet and talk. And people actually became really good friends in that time. And then even after that, we go to the RESA Convention and we network even further there. So you're always, if you're worried about going because you're gonna be by yourself, don't worry about it. You meet people right away and they're right there with you. So that was kind of awesome. One of the things I really loved that I need to know, thank you, Cindy, that I actually didn't realize was such a bonus of RESA. And I know I'm promoting RESA, but I am on the board and I should have known this. But one of the things, a conversation I had over and over again with some of the more successful stagers, is that they are taking part in the RESA approved instructor class, 2 agents. And so we talk about, as an industry, we need to elevate, we need to grow our industry, and we really need to get the word out to realtors, right? How do we do that? Well, some of you I know have a real affinity for teaching and getting in front of realtors, whether you're doing office presentations, that sort of thing. I would challenge you to transition, if you're doing office presentations, transition the marketing that you're doing into contact Resa about the Resa Approved Instructor Program, because that actually, instead of you doing a presentation selling, it's agents actually paying you to go to your class to get credits. They need, every agent, if you don't know, they need a certain amount of credits every year, and you can actually provide that for them. You have to be a Resa Pro. But it was one of the things I've always known about, and I'm going to put a lot more about that in my training. But it's one of the things I've noticed from meeting a lot of the successful stagers. They're really doing that. Pam, thank you. It's a great way to present, and they are doing that to really grow their business well. So that's just a hot marketing tip that I knew about, but I felt like I need to address more. I'm seeing a lot of success with that. Thank you, Pam. So what else? Oh, I talked about eDesign, and I am going to be doing an encore webinar presentation. So if you are not connected to me and my blog, get on my website, homestagingresource.com, and sign up for anything, because once you're signed up, I'm going to send you kind of information on what I'm doing, these kind of events, that sort of thing. And I do a lot of free events, and I do a lot of obviously not free events for my members, because I just love this industry and I like doing that sort of thing. I am going to be doing an encore presentation because I spoke on how do you make money with eDesign. So if any of you guys are on this live and you saw my how do you make money with eDesign, if you could chime in, that would be great. But I'm going to be doing a lot more on that, because I really see that as kind of an up-and-coming technology. A lot of you have asked me, what are my plans for that? Well, you could go to edesigntraining.com. I've got a site in the works. But basically what I'm doing is I'm going to be sharing my full eDesign account. So people who sign up will be getting all of my projects. So that's kind of the thing. So stay tuned for that. A lot more will be coming. But I got mobbed after that presentation by people who could think of a lot of different ways they can add. That's just technology. Again, technology may have making my life easier, and I just shared all the ways it could, because right now you're using that. So that's just a little heads up, wait for it. One of the technology providers I was super excited about, and I sat in for her presentation, was Stageforce. So Stageforce is a brand new inventory management system. And I got very excited about that, because in the past, for those of you who, how many of you on this line use an inventory management system? You probably use Darby. Darby has been around forever. I love Tammy. It's not a bad program. It's good. I know she's making changes. I'll be keeping an eye on that, but I'll tell you, after looking at Stageforce, in which case I talked to Tori a year ago, she is the one who she won Innovative Product of the Year with ResaCon, this product, Stageforce. The difference is it uses an RFI gun. So you could literally load up your truck with all of your items, if they're tagged, gun it, and all of that inventory will go right into the project automatically. I mean, it was amazing when I saw it. So then it reads like a long spreadsheet with the photos, if you have them in there, and you could sell that, you could put a price to it. There's so much you could do with this new technology, inventory management. So if you are starting to accumulate, how many of you guys are starting to accumulate items right now in your, and you don't have an inventory system and you don't know what you're leaving at what client's house? This is the beauty. Our industry is growing and new technology is coming into place, and it's exciting. So Stageforce, check them out. I loved that. And another technology reminder, because I have this in my training, but I'm always surprised when people don't, I know it gets buried, is number one, keeping track of the listings that you're doing. Eric, thank you. If you have a listing with the client, you do not want that home to close before you destage. We're talking vacant staging. I'm all over the board here, but I'm brainstorming the stuff that I thought I loved and really learned. When you have a listing, you need to use Redfin. Redfin.com is a way, if you heart that listing, then you will be sent reminders of when that listing goes into escrow. Do you think that's important for your business to know when every one of your stage listings is going to escrow? Yes, Redfin will do that automatically for you. So write that down. Another great technology for that. Another good technology I am going to be doing a training on in my training that I heard a lot of stagers have great success with is 17 Hats, 17hats.com. And this is more of a project management technology. Pretty cheap. I think it's like $40 a month, but it'll really help you manage your projects. You can automate your processes, your onboarding process with your client, you can send them contracts, that sort of thing. So stay tuned for that. I did talk to a lot of stagers who are using it. I shouldn't say a lot, a handful, and they're really liking it. I actually got the pleasure of facilitating the session for all the stagers that were 6+ years in business. And I actually had so much fun facilitating it. You know, people would ask questions of everybody else and get answers, talk about contracts, talk about things we need to add to the contracts, maybe some pitfalls to the business. And so I wrote down a lot of stuff. I'm going to be also sharing. I'm just, you know, my brain is still a little fried from it. But one of the things I learned, I did do a show of hands. So for those of you out there, for your, again, vacant staging, I asked every one of those stagers, there were maybe 150, 200 in the room, how many of you, by show of hands, get 100% of your fee before you load the truck up? 100% of your fee. Almost every single person raised their hand. So I was like, yes, stagers, we're getting money up front, we're getting paid for our jobs. And actually, some of the good commentary about the stagers who do not get all of it, they use it as a competitive advantage. And so that still worked for them, but they still got a healthy chunk. So write that down, you should be getting all of that money up front. So that's some stuff on the vacant side. On the other speakers on the occupied side, I loved talking to Bobby. Bobby gave a presentation where she had kind of a whole process where she wrote it down with her clients, you know, what to expect, how to prepare, and what we go over. And she had like a sheet for each one of her services that she gave to her client. And I thought that was really clever. So that was kind of one of my things that I learned that I loved. I want to congratulate all the winners. There were so many wonderful award winners. The body of work's incredible. I will be sharing that too, and more lives that I can show on my screen, but more so more video presentations, because I do want to showcase home stagers' work. All of you guys, the work is getting better and better, and it is good that we look at each other's work so that we can learn from one another. One other thing, just to kind of wrap it up, that I got to do a real benefit is I told you that resa conventions are timed with the market. And for those of you who don't know what the market is, the market in Vegas, the Las Vegas market, is a place where all of the wholesale vendors, from your furniture to your art to your accessories, lamps, lighting, you name it, they converge twice a year in January and in July. This is when we did it, in July. And they showcase their items. So you get to see their pricing, you get to open up accounts, you get to connect with them. And this is a way, stagers, if you're building your inventory, now if you're brand new, you're not building it yet, you probably need to start by going through a training. This is how you learn how to slowly build your inventory, how to start with occupied, more consultation-based business, and then grow into more vacant business. Vacant business, there's a lot of more money in, because you have furnishings that you're leaving with the client and you make money on the rental of those furnishings. And everybody's seen those beautifully staged vacant homes. Now, your cost of that vacant service is based upon how much those items cost you, right? So if you are putting in, you know, $8,000, $10,000, $15,000 worth of furnishings in a small house, then your cost, you need to make that money up, right? So how do you lower that cost? You buy wholesale. And so that's what the market, and I have a lot of photos. I'll show you just an example. I'll post them below here if I can. And that's what I really wanted to show you. I took 1 million photos of like beautiful artwork and the pricing. Beautiful lamps, like gorgeous, huge lamps for $49. I mean, better prices than Home Goods. I know a lot of you guys right now are haunting Home Goods. If I teach you anything on this, it's time to, you know, hold up on your buying, plan to go to the Las Vegas market or High Point, or the Atlanta market, where you can buy wholesale. And that's where you get, you know, you get the rock bottom pricing. And this is where agents cannot really compete with us, because we get that best price. So that's one thing. I'm going to show some photos. Another thing, just to close, because this is getting long and I really thank you all for being here, is, and you can put some comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. And I'll be doing more. I'm going to do a live webinar on this, because I'm just going to have to. I see all your great comments, and you need to see my screen. You need to see the stuff we did. But finally, one of the things Resa introduced, and I'm on the board, so I'm very excited about this. So save the date. If you feel like, oh, dang it, I wish I went to market, I wish I went to Resa convention, save the date this February 28th to March 1st. Resa, it's called the Resa Buyers Group. And what this is we're going to time it with the Atlanta Mart, where you can go to market and you can take part in a buyers group through Resa, where you get even lower than wholesale pricing on some of the best accessories and things that you like. So another way to bring your prices down, less than wholesale, Resa, because we are a large body of people. If you haven't joined Resa, this might be your reason to join. Take part in your chapter. They're doing great things. A lot of chapter leaders are my people, and I love it. We meet together, we discuss. Yes, the Dallas market is similar. The Las Vegas market and High Point are the two largest Sabrea, so if you can time it with that. But the Resa Buyers Group is lower than wholesale. And I don't have all the details on that. You can get it on the Resa website when they release it. Stay tuned, they will be. But I just wanted to put the bug in your ear, save the day. We're going to go shopping and we're going to get some great prices. We're going to lower our costs so that we can make more money and raise the bar in the industry. I have more to speak on all the other speakers because like I said, I learned a lot, but I want to do this quick Facebook Live to get out certain things that I loved. Obviously, Vern's book. Oh, one last thing. One of the vendors that I was working with, Living Spaces. Now, Living Spaces is not near everybody, but it's fast growing. It's in California. And I don't know if you could see this, but I have been working with them. I told them what I really want from you, what I love about Living Spaces is it is retail, but it's not. It's very close to wholesale cost. I'm going to show you in just a bit. It is, it's same day delivery. So for those of you who are getting that vacant job and you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to take this job, but I got to go shopping. How do I do this? They can deliver it the same day or the next day. And my Living Spaces connection created a package, which she introduced at the Resa convention. She was an exhibitor. And the package is, I hope you can see this, right here. Basically what it is it's this whole room right here. So you have a couch, a coffee tables, 2 side tables, 2 side chairs, artwork, because I told her not to really worry about artwork and pillows because that's where we're really good at shopping at Home Goods and stuff. And look at that rug. All of that with your Resa, with the discount that you get through Living Spaces, $1,874. So if you take that is a living room staging, you dial it in with your awesome accessories, which I know you have. So you'd spend you're spending less than $2,200 on a living room staging. What could you charge for that? Pretty good amount. So I was really happy that she did that and they can get delivered in a day. So they're putting together packages for us. I love it. Yeah, Melissa, you're lucky because they are another good vendor. I want to thank all the vendors. There were so many good vendors. A lot of them are at market, but Wayfair being one of them. If you don't shop at Wayfair, if you haven't opened an account, get going with that one. Renwell, Coaster, Saria, all of them wonderful vendors that I also connected with at the market where you get great pricing. And this is just all of us working together in a buyer's group and growing our industry. So we're going great places. Our industry is exploding. Gail, that e-design webinar I'm going to do within the next month. I'm going to give people 3 weeks to sign up. There's going to be a ton of people on it, and it'll be pretty exciting. And then I'll be launching. So thank you for that question. Any other questions I can help with? Any other comments?